All right. These two need a pre-wash. So that's going to
Do
go.
you like to pre-wash before you fold it?
If I'm going to use it for a garment only,
Hmm.
because then I can, when I get the
Well, yeah.
urge to do something with it, I can just start. Hello, everyone. We've got Ada from Newfoundland, Canada. We've got Connie from North Carolina. DK's on. Twyla, hello. Looks like you guys can hear us.
Yeah, I think yeah,
Hopefully
we're
you
on.
guys can
I
hear
can
us.
see it.
Good deal.
I have to plug this one in for it to not like shut down every like 30 seconds though.
That's no good.
It's all right. The plug works for this and this, so at a certain point I'll just have to like trade over to the other machine
I
and
have
back and forth.
multiple screens happening at the moment because
Me too.
I've got my phone doing a time lapse of me folding fabric and prepping it for my wall. And then I have on the computer, I have our topic list on one side, you in the center, and then the chat on the other. So we are multitasking. We are doing female multitasking at its
Oh
finest at the
well,
moment.
is male multitasking a thing?
Yes,
No, I'm just kidding.
always. I know, right? This is accurate. We've got Pablo from Philly. We've
Nice.
got Marlene. Marlene? Marlene. I'm not sure how to pronounce your
Mar,
name.
you know what? Even with glasses on, they're not accurate.
From Pittsburgh. You got new glasses. You have to tell the
They're
story
not
of
a new
why you picked
prescription though.
these glasses. Because I thought it was the most quilty description ever.
So I got new glasses and I love them, not because they're necessarily like the most attractive glasses you can ever have, but you can literally like sit here in your lap and have sewing and you don't see the line of the glasses because they're so big. And then when I'm reading in bed and I have my book up here, I can still read. It's like having contacts in.
So
Plus, I mean, they're kind of adorable, but
this is why she's chosen her glasses, so that they
yes.
are the
Yeah,
biggest
I'm officially at
lens
the
ever.
point that I, you know, I mean, they're cute, but like choosing because of the function.
Yes,
Next thing you
I
know, I won't
understand.
buy any more high heels or something. Oh,
Never.
shame.
That it's not possible. I won't
No, I
allow
will
it.
still own the high heels and just not wear them but once a year.
That I very much remember that with my mother. She had all these cute shoes from like the 70s before
Oh, yeah.
we came, and then we
Before
came
we came.
and we messed up her cute little outfit days.
God, it feels so real.
I know. My my daughter is obsessed with Dress to Impress, which is one of the
Oh
games you can play
gosh,
on
we're on
Roblox.
that too.
Oh my gosh. She wants to do like start doing YouTube videos on it and stream. And of course I know how to do this, so I've just got to set her up. But
Oh gosh, you're brave.
she's she's like, um, I'm making an outfit for mom. And my husband goes, Is it a moo-moo? She goes, No. And she goes, Well, mom won't wear it. I'm like, I just like to be comfy around the house. That's all it is. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be comfortable
Is it a moo-moo? You're
while I'm
like,
here.
yes, with clean underpants, sweetheart. Do the
I took
laundry.
over the laundry. We have always had clean underpants and socks for everybody since I started doing it. And he has been very good at keeping up with the dishes. So I think it's just, the laundry was in a closet and, out of sight, out of mind. And it just,
That's funny.
it's better now. Let's see. What is everyone saying? This is our normal time. We get on at 9:30 because that's when we can wrangle our children to bed.
Or at least talk the husbands into finishing the rest of it.
Exactly. That's basically the goal in life
Yeah.
is get the husbands to finish it up. Um, so that is when we start, and then we go to
Whenever.
11, somewhere between 11 and 12, depending on how exhausted we are. I did get a nap today because I
Oh,
was up
I'm
to
so
two.
jealous.
It was because I was up till 2:30 in the morning
Oh,
cleaning and
not jealous.
organizing my sewing space.
Which, by the way, look at that nice, clean, open space I see over there.
I did. Yep.
There's like empty room.
There is. So
It's almost
one of the
uncomfortable
things,
for me to see. I'm a
Sean,
maximalist.
well, it's gonna get filled probably on this Zoom, so don't worry, you worry. Um, so we have been talking about our goals for the year, and one of my big ones was to get my sewing space picked up because I have a really hard time working when I see a to-do list. And I know a lot of quilters work in like a state of chaos in their sewing spaces. And I like my things to have a home and be in the home, and that has not been the case for me for a year. So I've just have not really enjoyed coming down here, which is not what we want, right? We want to be able to thoroughly enjoy the time
We
we
all
spend
want
down
our
here.
paradise to be a true paradise, not a,
Exactly.
you know, chaos hole, which is more where I live.
So I I mean, I really haven't done that much. The biggest thing I did was go in and take a look at my fabric and have a good, honest conversation with myself of am I ever going to use this fabric?
So you sat
And
yourself down and
I
you're like,
did, I did.
sweetheart.
I'm like, when Chantel and I were talking, so I've been quilting for more than 15 years, and at the beginning, I didn't have any modern shops around me. Modern really
It
didn't
wasn't
even
quite yet a
exist.
thing.
It hadn't really come there. So I would buy the brightest fabrics I could find. And a lot of those were batiks because you can get a lot of really bright fabrics in batik. And I made a lot of batik quilts. A lot of my very early patterns were in batik. And I loved them. And then modern became a thing. I became aware of modern, and that's where my heart is now. That's the fabric I want to work with. I don't want to feel like I have to work with this batik because I paid good money for it, darn it. And so I purged a lot of that,
Hmm.
and I'm finding good homes for it. It's not like just going to the landfill. We're getting together with the former team members of Quilt Addicts Anonymous in a couple of weeks, and they're gonna dig through and decide what they want, and anything left over is going to the charity um, committee of the local quilt guild that makes quilts for people who need them. So it's all gonna get used, or it's all gonna
I need to
go
get on that.
somewhere
I
where
need to get
people will
my
like it.
fabric together for
Yeah,
your workers to go through and then so they can donate it and things like
yeah.
that too. Because I feel like so many opportunities I'm having for purging fabric are very piecemeal. They're looking just for this or just for that, or we're looking for this size, or, and which is fine because I mean, these organizations don't have time to go through all of my stuff. And
No.
that's not the point, right? And I'm not
Well,
going to
our
throw it in a
charity
landfill.
committee will take all.
Well,
So
that's
they will
great.
put it all together, and
Well,
sometimes
it's good
you will
stuff.
think, why did you put that together? But still,
I mean, I just know that I don't have enough time already to put together all the quilts. Hazel was on me today. She's my 8-year-old daughter about when are you starting my quilt? So I
I'm
have
sure.
it. Yeah, I have it down here. Where is it? I have all the pieces for it. And gosh, I can't find the pattern right there. I'm doing the cat's pajamas.
Yeah, I think you've shown me that one
So
before.
it's the cats in little pajamas, and she picked out Heather Ross Trixie fabric that has little mice. So the
Oh, that's
cats are going to
cute.
be in mice pajamas.
That'll be fun.
But it's a lot of like little itty bitty pieces, and oh, it's a lot of little itty bitty pieces and
She
keeping
better
things
cherish that
organized.
quilt.
Well, she's like, JD got a quilt already. I'm like, he got a half square triangle quilt, where like the most difficult thing was literally a half square triangle and it was completely scrappy. So there was like a scrappy background and a scrappy foreground, like
Yeah.
easy. And it was really fun to quilt because it was a Halloween one and I did glow in the dark spider webs on it when my machine was working. But
I
this
did
one, I'm really
leave
not
Tim a
looking forward
message,
to doing.
by the way.
Hmm?
I did leave Tim a message for you, by the way.
No, thank you. Yeah,
We're trying to get her
I'm
machine
really not.
fixed.
Yeah, it's an Elizabeth Hartman, and
Her
We'll see.
patterns are so gorgeous, but they're also like a lot
There are a
involved.
lot. And I keep telling Hazel, so I'm doing a quilt test right now, and which I'm excited about. I love being given a pattern and being told, find the combo that expresses this pattern. I love that challenge. I can do that all day. So I'm gonna finish that up. And I have a charity quilt that I gotta finish up. Actually, I need your guys' help on that one because the binding on it, the way that the previous owner who had passed away, I'm finishing this for her family, had done it, she like wraps her binding around from the front to
To
the
the back.
back, but not like she doesn't make separate binding. Like it's already connected to the quilt, like a blanket type binding.
Yeah, I've seen
And
that. I've
I've
never done
I
anything with it.
I don't know. So if anybody has any ideas or knows where I can find a resource for understanding that, thank you, Donna. She likes my haircut.
She does love your hair.
I like my hair too. It turned out pretty
It is
cute.
rather cute.
I wanted something funky for QuiltCon. Like, I'm an artiste. I need something cool. Not so
Yes.
run of the mill, like I'm home and I don't shower. That's not what I wanted to speak to people about.
But you'll be elsewhere and you will get to shower because you will not have
Yeah,
children
it'll be great. And so, yeah,
hanging
that was
off
what
of
I was
you.
going for. Like, I do my hair each day.
Oh, that's funny.
See, you hand stitch that down like you're hand stitching a regular binding. Yeah, it's kind of like
It's just
that,
going to be a
except
single fold, is all.
I have to trim all the batting and the backing and all of this stuff, and it's a little overwhelming to get started, and it's a king size quilt.
Oh,
So it's not like you know, one of the
I
things we
kind
were
of,
talking about this week is kind of like getting ourselves in the groove to get things done. That can be hard. And clearly you got yourself in the mood to get things done. Look at that big, nice empty spot that you're already filling.
yes. I mean, well, that was the thing. I had fabric. We bought this fabric in May, Chantel, and it's
Oh,
been folded nicely in in May. Yeah, it's been a minute, and it's been folded nicely, in a bag, in a corner, but it needs to be on the wall. And I just didn't have room for it. And I was like, why
you
am
need
I
to show
keeping
some
these
of those
things?
patterns before
You
you
know,
like fold them up. They're so pretty.
they are very pretty, but
The prettiest.
I'll go just,
Oh, we should probably explain that the new format.
oh, yes. So we are
We're
trying
trying something
something
new.
new. And what we're going to do is we are chatting and we've come up with some topics that we want to cover um, that we think you'll find interesting or are like in the news this week with quilting, sewing, that kind of thing. And then we're going to chat with you guys through the comments as opposed to having everyone on Zoom. So we're trying something out. We might have some guests in the future. And then, every once in a while we'll bring everybody on to do the sit and sew like we have
Like a
been doing.
quarterly or something like that, where
Yeah, like
we
something
we
fun where like you can save the date and then everybody can come on. So, I think that would be fun.
it
But
was well
Siberian
liked last
Wind
week.
has some good tips. She said fold the front out of the way and pin base it out of the way so you can trim,
Okay.
and then you should be able to go around from there.
Yeah,
It
that
won't be
that's
the
just
sturdiest.
nerve-wracking.
It
So
won't be the sturdiest thing because it's only the single fold, but it's how she
yeah,
intended it.
it is
So,
how she intended it. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of this organization called Loose Ends, but essentially it's an organization that takes um craft projects. I say craft projects loosely because it can be crochet, it can be painting, any quilting, garments, knitting, whatever. And it takes these projects and from somebody that didn't get to finish them because they either passed away or they're in a state where they won't be able to finish it. And so you take the project as a finisher. They match you up and everything and make sure you're a good fit. They try to fit you with somebody local. And you get matched up with a project. So I got matched up with a project that belonged to a woman who passed away, and she was working on a quilt for her daughter, and she'd actually already started the quilting part of it. And it's all made of the napkins that they used at this woman's wedding, which is really
Oh,
cool.
that is
And
cool.
so I quilted it in such a way that so she was like stitch in the ditch quilting it.
Hmm.
And you can see clearly where she stopped. So I did kind of a loop quilt around, each thing. So you can
Hmm.
see clearly where hers is and mine is. Um, but I gotta get that finished up. I had her send me lots of pictures and I finally got the pictures of it all. And so I need to get it finished up. But now I'm having, the nervous, like this is the part of it that I don't want to mess this up, right? Like
It'll be okay. I mean, at the end of the
I
day, it's binding. It's not going to be that different than normal.
it's the
You
trimming
just
part that's
you just
freaking
have
me
to
out.
be you have to be careful with the trimming. That's a big thing.
Yeah. And it's not very square, like it's very wavy in the
Yeah.
borders. So I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna need like an uninterrupted afternoon to do it so that I can move the table out of the other room and like lay it all
Hmm.
out. But
Understandable.
yeah, so that I don't, cut and have a toddler like running around saying, hi neighbor, as she's plowing through with her little Tykes car.
Yeah.
So,
This is not what we want to have happen.
no, have her have a dog running all over the quilt, like, oh, James, like, you won't mess it up. I hope I don't mess it up. It's funny what will stop us though, you know. I'm
Oh, I
afraid that I'm
know.
gonna mess up the binding and can you really?
And that's probably, honestly, it's just different than what you're used to. That's the intimidating part for you.
It's different and I can't quite, it's, yeah, it's just different. But it was a great learning experience for me for quilting a big quilt and all of that because it's like king size, so it's very large,
Yeah, I'm
very,
sure.
very large.
And did you do that on your sit-down machine
On the
since your long
frame,
arm is out of commission?
yeah. Well, it was before, so I've had it for quite a while, and I
Okay.
was waiting for her to send me more images of like what
Hmm.
this binding looked like, and she has kids too, and so it was hard to
Took a minute.
like, yeah, and I've got the pictures just before the holiday season kind of started up. So it was like, I'm sorry, I have to put this on hold while the holidays are here because,
Yeah, understandably.
and now I can't put it on hold anymore. I really do have to do it.
Yeah. I have to show this one. So this
Oh, I
one
love that
has
one.
all of the um s-
It's
they're not
London.
soldiers, the guard. So it's like the London scene. I thought this would make the great like shirt.
That reminds me of 101 Dalmatians.
I feel like I don't want to make anything until I've like solidly seen what I can do for like 6 months of weight loss.
I understand what you mean. This is why I got into quilting to begin with. I was like, I'm not a
I
very good
I know, like
hanger for my clothes. And
my
then I got into
body
doll
changes
clothes
size
sewing.
so much. Like I
Now
don't
I'm
want to
like,
make it,
I can do this now. I feel like I'm finally at a place where I could probably make myself
make it
some
happen.
things. But
Yes.
where's the time? I
Yeah,
got to get more
that's always the
of
hard
these.
part. But
Sorry, you're
yeah,
all
yeah.
seeing my butt real quick.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, I gotta put some stuff up here. I need to
It's
make
butt
some room.
time.
It is. We're seeing the derrieres for a moment. I gotta
Yeah,
make
I
room
I got to
so I
get more
can
glue
do the three
sticks.
meter piece. But but yes, so that's what we have been up to this week is trying to figure out.
Yeah, our life.
I mean, yes. I felt like
Yes,
I was very on it this week from a life
you were.
standpoint. Like I got in all of my work hours that I'm supposed to get in, which doesn't always happen. And then I like it's my fault only. I did not realize the children had a half day today.
Oh,
And I was like, oh shoot. So I thought I was gonna have like one more day to like
oh
be
my
super
gosh, I've
productive.
done that.
And then it's like, oh no.
You're like, I can't be the only parent that totally didn't know that their kids have a partial day or no day at all. They go to
Yeah,
wake the kids up and they're like, we don't have school today. It's like, ah, that's funny. No, they really didn't have school that one time. That like,
that's funny.
ah.
Whoops.
It was a Friday
Whoops.
too. I was supposed to send Penny to daycare that day, back when she was still allowed in daycare. She's being so funny. She's 3 years old and not potty trained yet. But she potty trained all her baby dolls. I'm
Oh,
going to
did
be very
she?
clear. Yeah, she potty trained all the baby dolls. And we ask her, you know, well, why don't you go in the potty? And she looks at us and she says, I baby, goo goo gaga.
You
Like,
know what I
great.
did? I bought the Bitty Baby potty for
We have it.
Lily.
That's how she potty trained all the babies.
Well, does she really like playing with it?
No,
Oh, well, we need something. So when Lily had an
it's got to be
accident,
good.
she wasn't allowed to play with the potty until the next day. And then it
Oh,
would be like a do-over. And then that helped a lot
I
doing
think she'll
that.
get it when I finally sit down and say, it's time. It's a me problem. Like, if I put her in underwear, she would probably have a problem for like half a day. She hates being dirty and being icky and stuff. So it's a me problem. But the winter blues are real and it's
Yeah.
not my favorite season of the year for getting really into the gritty of everything. It's kind of like I'm surviving. So,
It's, it happens.
nah.
At least it's not as bad of a winter. At least
No.
for
Yeah.
me, anyway. I don't know.
We had
You've been getting a
snow.
lot of snow? We have not
Yeah.
gotten that much. It's just been
We got
cold.
part of that St. Louis snow that
Yeah.
came by.
The
So
South has
we
gotten
should
hit.
probably ask what everybody else is
Yes.
doing.
How is
We're
everyone? What are you guys
I
all
know you're
working on?
here.
We do. What are you guys all working on? I'm trying to finally put away fabric that I bought 7 months ago.
Donna says it's hard to sew if she follows the comments. She can't do both. So she'll have to catch up on that and just be listening. We've been trying to kind of read out some of the comments too, because we know that some people are
Yes.
are working. We're still figuring it out ourselves, what exactly we're doing. So if you see me looking over here over and
Yeah,
over
it's because
again,
we're looking at
it's
both.
because I'm looking at the comments and trying to keep up with that.
I wanna share this one too. So this is the Liberty building, and you can see where
Oh,
it says Liberty in the center. And they had
that's
this
so
in
cute.
rainbow too, but I got it in black and white because I thought
Oh,
that
you
would
know what? I
also
might have
make a
gotten it in
really
the
nice
rainbow.
top.
That would be cute.
This would be, I mean, this could be worn for sure. A
That would
nice
be
boxy
really
summer
cute in the
top.
lining
Yeah,
of like a coat or jacket.
it would. Then I
Like
would have
have
to
a
make
bright
myself a coat
color.
or jacket. Oh, I found, Facebook sends you all kinds of things that
Yes, they
you
do.
could spend your money on. And I showed this thing to Angela. I said, when you're an adult and you have money to spend, this is something you can buy. It was this full-on blazer, and when you open it up, it's the Harry Potter Marauders mat for the lining. So
They
you
need
look
that
business
fabric.
professional, and then you find out, oh no, you're just a big nerd, and
You're
that's
just a
okay.
big kid.
Yes. Let's see. We've got let's see. DK bought a couple of clear Target bins and is watching how I fold and fit. I did a lot of that this week too. I actually have seven open ones right now. So I'm feeling
Mm.
really good about myself that were previously full. Um, Happy Bergmeyer is removing EPP papers.
Oh, that's a fun one.
The Siberian wind is catching up on works in progress. They have snow coming for another couple hours, so you are definitely
In the Siberian
doing what you
climate
should be
there.
doing, just staying inside and sewing. And Debbie is ironing a starch bundle of Sunnyside
Mm.
and has to make her girlfriend a bright quilt. So that's
Oof.
fun.
I only make bright quilts unless it's for
A
somebody
gift.
to it's a gift, yeah. They're
Yeah.
not
I
everybody lives in rainbows, apparently.
I mean
Twyla's
it's
doing some hand quilting. Do you do
ooh.
big stitch quilting, Twyla, or do you do more of a small stitch like in a hoop or That's
Julie
always
is
interesting to me.
making tree quilt blocks, and AB is just listening in. That's fine
And
too.
that's fine too. We are the
You don't
same
have to
person.
be productive. We
I
like,
mean,
I like having an excuse to do something every week because otherwise I wouldn't get anything done down here.
I wouldn't either.
But
It's just nice to be able to be like, no, I have to go downstairs now. This is serious work.
it is very
And then I
much.
giggle to
We
myself
have
as I go
planning
downstairs.
meetings now
We
on
have
Fridays.
planning meetings. Yeah.
Oh,
Her
goodness.
husband the other day is like, who are you talking to? And it's like Chantel. And he's like, for what? And I'm like, this is a work meeting. Like, you need to butt out.
I mean, not always. Twyla says she does small stitch in a hoop. That is impressive. I tried to figure that out when I was a very early quilter, when I was just trying to figure out what my jam was, and I could never figure that out.
I'm
I would
taking a class
literally
with, oh, go
punch
ahead.
and pull them up every single time because I couldn't figure out the rocking
The
motion.
rocking motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking a class with Jen Kingwell
Ooh,
at QuiltCon, and it's about hand quilting. So I'm hoping that I figure out some really good motions for
tips.
things like that because anytime I'm sewing upstairs in the real world while the kids are running around, it's all by hand.
Yeah.
They're just too active around. They're just too active. Honestly, I don't feel comfortable having a machine up there. They're feral, but they're mine, you know.
You gotta take what's yours.
I know. I didn't get a
There's like,
quiet kid or anything like that, you know, a really observant one that really wants to take to quiet crafts and stuff like that. No, I got kids that like want to leave the house and, you know, do
oh
things.
yes, I'm
Uh,
always doing the things. Always doing the things. I understand that. Let's see. Donna's got two regular blocks and two advanced blocks each month for what she's working on. I was I'm actually working on something new, but I did not get to a point where I could cut it before we started. So
I have something to cut too, and I've learned from Stephanie that we don't we don't cut on this show.
no, no, especially mine. It's like advanced fabric. I can't mess it up because there's no more to get.
There's no more.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun though.
It
Advanced
is
fabric.
fun, but it's also like, pressure
Stressful. Yeah.
because you really can't mess it up. And that's a challenge.
If you do, you have to change your pattern.
I mean, I can't at this point. It's like been like promoted.
Oh,
I
great.
have it has to look the way it is on the thing. It's
Darn.
that good.
Okay, yeah, so definitely no cutting on the show.
No cutting on this show. Not gonna happen. Let's see. I think I'll put those up, but later. Most of my stuff now is small.
Siberian Wind said cutting all alive. I've learned that one too. Man, it is not,
Not recommended.
Try it.
Not
I mean, I can
recommended at all.
iron. That's about the level, and I can piece.
I could trim things down. That I'm
I
fine
tried
with.
quilting. That one was
Yeah,
hard.
that's
That
hard
takes a lot
too.
more brain than you think
Yeah,
when
I
you're
don't think
doing like
I'm
the actual free motion quilting or even the ruler work. Look, I got a little guy. He's so
Oh, he's
cute.
so perfectly centered. I love
He
it.
was a good one. I love the colors that are hidden in her fabric.
Oh,
Like
I
I
didn't
see
even notice
purple.
this.
What's that?
They have the Liberty mark on even the plain white.
Oh,
It says
even on the
Liberty
selvage
made
of
in
their
Italy.
solids.
Yeah, but it says made in
Fancy.
Italy. I didn't realize. For some reason I thought it would be like an all like English thing. Obviously not. I don't know where
I
I
think
came up with
that
that in my
the
brain.
Tana lawn, which is what it is from a
Yes,
specific region, and that's why they call it
why
that.
they call it. That makes sense.
I think I read that somewhere. Might be fake news. I don't know.
Oh, you're gonna trigger people with
Oh,
that
sorry.
comment.
I don't, I mean, I
Ah,
might be making things up, is what I mean.
Donna has a Boo Boo kit for each colorway. Yeah, we used to sell those when we did Block of the Months because you
What's a
never
boo-boo
knew.
kit?
That's where like it basically is a way for the quilt shops to sell a little bit extra fabric and get rid of like your extra little bits,
Hmm.
but it allows you, it's just a little bit left of every single one. So that way, if you screw
Some
something up,
leftovers.
it's not like, oh crap, now I'm not going to be able to get this
You got
fabric.
matching bandages.
Yes, basically.
That's a good
But
deal.
yeah,
I like
that
that
is,
idea.
yeah, we used to do that a lot when we did block of the months. It worked out quite well.
We were talking about block of the month this
We
week
were.
too.
So we were
That
talking about obviously the Joanne's news was big, and we were talking about
hmm
saturation in the quilting and crafting market. Um, so Joanne's is obviously a big news, and I don't, it's probably not common knowledge, but I worked at Joanne's probably for like 4 months last year just because I needed, like, I thought that the business was going to provide enough for, you know, cover what I normally made, and that was not the case because pattern design is a very different,
hmm
um, like cycle. Like the quilt I'm doing this week, I designed well over a year ago, and I'm just now going to get paid for my time for that, and it's not that much. And so it's it's just so entirely different animal than when you're like selling retail. So I needed to get out of the house, quite frankly, for my mental health. So I worked at Joann's for a little bit, and I know there's crossover. I guarantee there are people probably watching this now who also have bought fabric at Joann's. And because every time I went in there, I would get recognized if I had my hair down and didn't wear my glasses. If I had my glasses on and my hair up, I could like, it was like my Clark Kent disguise. I could work incognito. But these are people who I'd never met in person ever. Like they knew me though. And so I don't know. I know there's going to be a lot of quilters affected by this because it's not, you can't assume that everyone who quilts only buys from a local quilt shop. And
Well,
to some
it's some of
people,
its
that's all they
availability.
have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it comes down to what you can get. There are some great options, even at Joann's. You can find them.
Yeah.
It's not like an
There's a
open
lot of
book.
Robert Kaufman. There's a lot of Camelot. That's all available at quilt shops as well. Um,
So, I mean, and to say that we're beyond buying the notions and things like that from there, we're not. We've all
no,
had a
definitely
moment where
not.
we've had to go into a Joann's, and there's no shame in that whatsoever. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a budget consideration too that
Well, and I buy apparel fabric there. I
which makes sense because we have nowhere to buy apparel fabric.
No. And I will buy from Mood online. Like if you ever have watched Project Runway, that's where they go to buy the fabric.
Hmm.
Um
I still want to go there someday.
I want to go there with an unlimited budget. So I don't know that I'm ever going to go there. But
Well, we made it to Liberty and we didn't ruin
we did.
anything.
I know, but like we didn't, you know how we walked into
Oh, the
the
fabric, the
fabric,
fabric
like
store.
the fabric and some of that stuff was like 70
Dollars a
pound
meter. Yeah.
a meter, yeah. No, pound, not even dollars.
Oh,
This is more expensive than that even. But it was all gorgeous. But like when you're
and you're
talking
like,
about
I only
needing,
need 4 yards to make a dress, and then you start mathing, and you're like, "Mm,
yes,
I don't need
it's quite a bit.
this."
And we did buy a little because they would let you buy and like, it's a
Smaller
lot easier to
quantities.
split it up when it's on the tens of the meter because you can just be like, 10 centimeters. This I just want 10 centimeters, and they would give it to you. It was quite nice. But but yeah, it's that part's gonna be hard. And obviously people are losing jobs and that's bad too. But I think the bigger problem is that there's this huge oversaturation because there's about 50 manufacturers of quilting fabric in the United States. and they all have been making more and more and more. And everybody got really excited when when they saw what sales were happening during the pandemic, because that was record, never to be seen again type
That was
sales.
abnormal.
Very abnormal, but people got excited. They thought, "Oh, they've got this hobby. We can keep
Hmm.
them because it's so easy to get hooked on quilting, as many of us have." And
When the
people,
business is good, you just keep chugging
yeah.
forward. And that's what
But
fabric companies did.
then you have, people going back to their normal busyness of their lives, and not everybody has the time that they did before. I know I don't.
And they have a stash now because they spent the time curating that during the
Yeah.
pandemic.
And they feel bad, going and buying because I have all this. And I think that that is a problem. And then the other part of it is because inflation has affected the fabric world too, you have that whole component to deal with. Because I was telling Chantel, we had this fabric company. We would get Mona Luna organic cottons in occasionally, and it was gorgeous. It felt really lovely to touch, but it was like 14, $15 a yard, and it was impossible to get anybody to buy that because they would see the price of it, and at that time, $12 a yard was a lot for fabric. Most of it was in the 11 to 11.50 range. And I think I think that's sticker shock too. I think people still want, the $12 fabric. They have a hard time ponying up 14 for the fabric
Well,
now.
and if you've been shopping at Joann's for any amount of time or your Walmart or wherever for fabric, you want it for $7 a
Yeah,
yard. And
because
so
you got that coupon.
because you have big sticker shock when you go to a quilt store and you're like, well, what's the difference between this and anything that I've ever gotten, you know?
A lot.
Um,
There's a lot of
there,
difference.
well, I've picked apart almost an entire quilt of black cotton that you could basically see through. It was like as thick as a hanky. Um, Instead of being, it was like single ply toilet paper, poor fabric. But yeah, it's still a shame that they're closing, but people are really going to be shocked when they start buying fabric again from
Yeah.
quilt stores too, because the prices are up. I mean, what's a
Oh yeah, for
yard of
sure.
free spirit right now? Probably 14.
Yeah, somewhere thereabouts.
I
And
mean,
let's see. We've got DK is sad. Shopping is so online. It is very online. You have to know your brands that are good, and you got to kind of stick with them. And Donna says there's too many notions that quilters use besides the fabrics. Um, but yeah, I think there's too much out there right now. I think
it's saturated.
there's probably too many companies. They're producing too many lines. Um,
Stuff is sitting for a long
yeah.
period of time. Like if you I went to Hobby Lobby, I needed some Kona. And so I went to Hobby Lobby because I just needed basically brown, no big deal. And they had their 40% off, right? It's the same Kona anywhere. I ended up
I
having to
honestly
give
don't
them
know, but it might be.
my understanding is that it's the same, but it was for nothing, not a big deal or anything what I needed it for. And so I went to get it and they had two bolts of it and you could tell the one was completely sun faded on the top from sitting there for too long. Like
Yeah.
just from the fluorescent lights sitting on it for a long period of time. Like this fabric, it can't just sit there forever, in these stores. It does get
Need to
affected
move.
by the environment that it's in. That's why you shouldn't have your fabric sitting in the sun,
I did had that happen
for a long
when
period of time.
my sewing studio was upstairs. I got bleach lines on the folds.
Yeah.
But
Hi,
yeah,
Lori.
it's
Lori
sad.
says hi. Yeah,
Hello.
Siberian Wind said she has the need to touch and feel and the visual for color matching. Yeah, I buy like charm packs sometimes just to know if there's a particular line that I like, to know what my colors are for that. Or I stick a lot to Tula and I know those colors. You basically look at it and decide what I need to match it, and I have most of that in stock. But if you don't know what you're looking for, shopping online can be
Yeah, it
very
can be
overwhelming for
challenging.
fabric. And that would be like
Uh,
me trying to get garment fabric online. I would
So
feel completely overwhelmed.
Mood Fabric is really good. They've got a great search engine to where you can really dial it down to the type of fabric you want and the fiber
Hmm.
content. And then you can order swatches. And it's not free, but they're labeled really well. And so once you have it, then you like you know for sure that
Yeah,
that works. So
at least there's that. But I mean, that's a several day
you're waiting.
to week
Yeah,
process. You know, it's not like, oh, I got the wild hair. I want to go like make something. You can't just
yeah.
do that unless you have a stash,
And
which is
even
actually, you were talking about pre-washing some of your garment fabric before you even put it
yes,
away.
which honestly maybe I should pre-watch what I'm folding right now. Typically if it's
Uh,
for doll clothes, I do pre-wash it.
DK said here in the Quad Cities, thankfully, fabric shops are in the area of Orion and Geneseo. I went to Cambridge and Sherrard, and I have lots of family in Orion, so I know it well.
Yes.
I know it
There
very well.
are, but it's hard. Like, I mean, I know one of the shop owners, and I know that there's not a profit in her store. You know, she's got a husband who makes enough to where she doesn't have to turn a
It's her
profit and
hobby
pay
store.
herself. Yeah. Well, but she works very
Oh
hard,
yeah. Well, yeah,
very,
but
very hard. And
um, yeah.
and that's a lot of quilt shops are like that,
My favorite
where,
quilt shop I order from online is shutting down. And basically
yeah,
for the prices that I was getting fabric for, I don't doubt
yeah, they were
that
paying
was the
you to
case.
take that fabric,
Oh,
is
they
what was
basically were,
happening
and
there.
I did it happily.
But that's the thing that people don't realize. You've got like Joann's was able to do the coupons because Joann's produced the majority of the fabric that they sold, and even a lot of the brands within the store they owned.
No, it'll
For
say designed for Joann's or whatever on the
yeah,
fabric. Like it'll actually say designed specifically for Joann's stores. I remember seeing that in the selvage.
so and it's not just that, like a lot of the jewelry, some of the kids' craft type things,
Hmm.
um, yarns. There's a whole bunch of yarns that were like specifically Joann's, and it is when you manufacture, so like you have all the costs to manufacture, and then
Hmm.
they double that price. And that's what quilt shop like Quilt Addicts Anonymous would have paid. And then we double that price. And then that gives us what we need to make our overhead and hopefully pay some people to work for us and pay ourselves.
So it's
And
like quartered. So the first
yeah,
quarter is
so
the
it's
what
like
it costs. Yeah.
25% is what it actually costs to make. So if you have a Joann's and they're doing 50% off something, well, they're still making what they would have made if they would have sold it
I get
somewhere
it.
else. And even if they're ordering from um Robert Kaufman, they're ordering in such quantities that they're paying distributor prices. So they're paying um significantly less than the quilt shops are for that fabric,
And all of this is going to trickle down with people
for sure.
wanting those prices at a quilt store, and it's just not feasible.
No, it isn't. It definitely is not. I'm also now rethinking whether or not I want to wash this garment fabric first or not. But I also really don't want to deal with it. When do I ever wash doll clothes? Very rarely.
When the dog pees on it.
Pretty much. That has
And
happened.
then you just
Uh,
wash it on cold and hang it up to dry.
this
That's the
is
thing
what's
about
gonna
the doll
happen.
clothes. They're not going to get like washed
And
crazy.
if they get destroyed, it was the doll clothes. I'm just gonna keep going. But
Yeah, you're fine.
Remy, oh my gosh. I went to leave the house. It happened right as I was leaving. And then I realized this had happened. This is partially my fault because I should have put it away a long time ago. But I had two dresses that needed to be dry cleaned,
Hmm.
um, sitting like hooked on my dresser. So they were like coming down toward like
Yeah.
ground level.
Yep. Yep.
And he was able to reach it and he did a little pee pee on my dry clean only dresses. So then I had to obviously put them through the wash and cross my fingers that it'll be fine. But
Oh man.
and one of them was a designer dress that I found at the Bettendorf Goodwill that was new with tags. And
New with tags?
I was like,
No,
please be
Granny.
okay. Please be okay.
Granny. No,
I
friend.
know.
Oh, that's hard.
He was in trouble.
That's hard.
And then
Yeah,
he
no,
managed to
thank you.
poop while going up the stairs to the basement.
Now, is that a
That was
skill or
impressive.
a flaw?
I'm not sure. I think it's impressive, probably. But so Remy's gotten in a little bit of trouble today.
All my dogs
Ugh.
have been in trouble. My dog, I thought it was just Cubby. I have four dogs, and so three of them managed to get into a diaper this week and eat the diaper. And I did not know about this until all of a sudden, all the dogs are vomiting on everything. And they ate a really good quality diaper, so it expanded, and they're just no piece of upholstery was saved except for one sofa, which almost wasn't saved. I got bent off
Oh
of
my
that just in
goodness.
time. It was bad.
It
And
sounded
this
really
all
bad.
happened as soon as John got home too. So I'm like, it's been chaos today. And then they just all start vomiting
Oh
all
my
over the
goodness.
place. It was such a mess. And it was so awful. And I'm like, I swear I'm an adult. I have this under control, but they were just vomiting everywhere.
I
And I
found
have
an
kids too. I have three kids too. And so the kids are like, what is going on? Like, what's wrong with the dogs? Are they gonna die? Like,
I
so
found
bad.
that if my husband comes home from work and he asks how was the day, and he's referring to how it went with the children, and if I say awful, I get a lot more sympathy that night. That if I say, oh, it's fine,
Well, John
like
wants
you
me to
maybe
say
got more
fine.
sympathy.
Well,
Oh,
he was just sad because he was already at work for extra amount of time. And so at that point, it was just, oh my gosh, it was just so bad. Um, Back
see,
on
we've got some
topic.
comments. Yes, let's get
Yeah.
back on topic. We've got let's see.
Oh yeah, if you have a Joann's gift card, spend it now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
definitely,
They go into liquidation, and those gift cards are no longer valid. So
for sure. Lori says 70% of her stash is from online. Um,
I bet you almost all of mine is.
I have not been buying that much recently, mostly because I have enough to like sew. I would need backgrounds and backing,
Hmm.
but I could make quilts maybe for a decade and garments for a decade and
Yeah, me
not
too.
run out. Like, this is not something, I mean, I am gonna go and get some more yarn because I got my yarn for my temperature blanket
You're
there.
very good about buying the yarn when you need the yarn.
Well, I want to get the extra yarn because I don't think that the yarn I got, I think it's a Joann's brand. I don't think I can get it
Hmm.
anywhere else. So I don't
Oh,
want to like run out and then I can't like have my 30-degree temperature mark again, or this is
although it'd
really,
probably be far enough away that, you wouldn't notice.
hopefully, you would think. But
Let's
still,
see.
I
When is
I'm
Joann's closing? I don't know if they are closing, but it
so
is
right
worth
now
noting that it's their second bankruptcy.
it's their second bankruptcy in a year and they are looking for a buyer. Big Lots, the person that purchased Big Lots is in the talks for that. But I think Big Lots is still closing and liquidating. Because sometimes when
Yeah.
they sell, what they do is they buy the rights. Like Michaels owns the rights to fabric from Hancock Fabrics, which is why you're starting to see fabric now. Because they were kind of just
Oh,
biding
okay,
their
that makes
time.
sense.
And they bought it for, pennies on the dollar because that was just all that was left. It got kind of parceled out and piecemealed. And
Well,
so they
and
did
rights to
that.
the name, like Bed Bath and Beyond was bought
Yeah.
by Overstock, for example, but it's not
Yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond. They still use the name Toys R Us, in like Macy's and things like that. I think it is.
Yeah.
There's a section that's the Toys R Us, but it's not the Toys R Us, right? Like
No,
it's not
it's not.
the
It's not what
actual
it was.
fun place that it was.
Oh man, I wish Lily would have gotten to
I
experience
know.
that. Angela
Toys
was
R Us is
sore
so
about
fun.
that for a really long time about Toys R Us closing.
I
She's
don't think
really
my
sad.
kids really caught on. I mean, JD got the chance to be in there. Hazel was a little too young. You know, it is what it is.
But
Everything's closing and it's sad.
I know. Well, and honestly, it's all across the board. Like the stock market might be doing really well, but like even John Deere headquarters is in the town where
Hmm.
I'm at. They are struggling because they make all their big farm equipment is made to order. So the order comes in and then they start production on it. Nothing is like made ahead of time.
Hmm.
And so even that, the volume is so far down because the farmers are making do with what they have, making it last longer, the way a lot of us
Hmm.
are with our cars. And a lot of it is because the interest rates are so high, it's very prohibitive to get a loan for a giant piece of equipment like that.
Right. And it's not
So,
like the margin for, getting that is really going to be that much better than
yeah,
what they have, or by renting the equipment too. You can tell we live in a farming community. We know all about this.
yes, we do. But so it's all across the board. It's not just fabric. Obviously, Big Lots, Party City is going through it. So
Okay,
it's
Party
not,
City was very overpriced and really not that exciting to go to. I'm sorry, it
but
was not a
it's
party.
definitely not just a fabric world problem.
No.
I think it's a post-pandemic economics are still kind of hard for a lot of people problem.
Hmm. A lot of people are saying that they buy online, or they don't have, a quilt shop near them or whatever.
Hmm.
And some of them do, but it's a trip. And I know, like, I have two quilt shops near me, and I have another one 45 minutes away. I live in kind of, I mean, there's a lot of quilt shops really around here, but
Hmm.
they're not stocking
What you
necessarily
like.
my needs,
Yeah.
as a modern quilter. Like, they
There's a shop
definitely,
near
they're
you
my
where you can get
first.
Tula.
There is a shop that will have Tula, but I can't guarantee that they'll have a fat quarter bundle, for example, because not very
Yeah.
many people go in and want like the entire collection,
Well,
you know,
it's an investment. It's probably what? It's probably about $100
over
now.
$100,
Well,
for
that was
one of
a
those.
price point too. Like whenever I was buying fabric and there was a fat quarter bundle, if retail on that was over $100, I never bought it because there's just something mentally
When it
about,
hits that extra digit, yeah.
yes, people are like, I should think twice about this. And
The
I,
99.99 syndrome.
yeah, it doesn't matter that everything costs more now. That's still there. It's
Yeah.
not like a groceries thing where you have to have it to live or a gas. It is a hobby
Yes, a
and
great hobby, if I
a
might say
fabulous
so
hobby.
myself. A
Yes,
hobby that we tend to overbuy for our hobbies.
yes.
I saw something that people spend on average, $260 or $80 a year on their hobby. And I was like,
That's like
oh,
not even one quilt.
people just don't have hobbies apparently, because you know what the,
Or it's like gaming and they're like buying a couple games a year and then playing them
well, right. My
forever.
husband's restarted the same game, 6 times,
Yeah.
with different endings. I don't know if I would consider, I don't know. It is a material heavy, yeah. Overbuy, never,
Literally.
Lori says.
Let me direct you to
I know, right?
my
I don't even
wall
look
of
at my
fabric.
walls. These
But
two cabinets back here, these mid-century ones, are just full of
we were
fabric.
talking too about you and I have kind of changed the way that we buy lately.
Yes, definitely. And I think a lot of people have. When you have these beautiful statement fabrics, you have to have a way to display them. How many quilt patterns are just display fabrics? And that's overwhelming, right? So I started buying background fabrics. and I started buying whites and
Yeah.
blacks, plain fabric. Lori says, you owned a store. You have an excuse. I was also her number one customer, so
She
I have an
definitely
excuse
was.
too.
I probably could run the numbers and find out if you
I
where
don't
you
want to
actually were.
know. I
I
don't
bet
want
you
to
don't.
know.
My old I don't have them anymore, but my old email provider was also a customer relationship management system, so it would tell you the lifetime value of a customer.
The lifetime value of a customer.
Yeah.
Great.
I feel like I don't have an excuse though because I finished so many quilts because of the nature of stashing with Stephanie. Yes, I went through a lot of fabric, but I finished a lot of projects.
Your proof is behind you.
Yes, the thing that I would keep were the project or the fabrics that sold so fast that I
Mm.
didn't need to do something with it in order to get it to sell. So, like an entire, I can show you guys, an entire section over here. This is all garment fabric of well-intentioned pieces of fabric that I bought with projects in
Mhm.
mind and haven't gotten to. And a lot of my UFOs are that too. This is all my quilting fabric. It's not a whole lot. There's, two shells of yardage, a whole bunch of fat quarters, and then some more basic yardage on the bottom.
Yeah, it is
It's
not
not a,
my.
it's not
Oh,
a lot given, and I still could probably work for 10
feeling a
years.
little guilty
Yeah.
about my stash. Well, my walls are very beautiful of fabric, and I do love a good fat quarter. I'm gonna get
Yes.
to it one day. It's all going to happen.
Chantel and I are going to live in the same assisted community living
We have
community
already got
someday.
this planned.
And we're gonna equip a quilting room and we're gonna be like the cool ladies
Yeah,
doing that. That's what's
there
gonna
might
happen
be an
with
open
us.
bar too, because
Yeah.
why not? And
No,
probably a DJ.
literally there are bars in these places.
It's so funny.
I now work
That'll
at a
be us.
place that helps seniors find the assisted living community that's right for them. And so I've been in some of these and it's like living in a cruise ship. It literally is.
Oh, that
They're
sounds like
like
fun.
there's like activities all the time, all day long,
Nice.
and Um, there's, meals, 3 meals a day if you want them, and there's bars that are fully stocked, and it's hilarious.
I
But
mean, we have enough machines.
we
We
do.
could
We could.
we could
This is
outfit the
how
whole thing.
woodworking shops. There's so many that have woodworking shops because
Hmm.
the guys that go there, they're like, well, I have these tools. Let's make designate some space for a woodworking shop, and then it just outfits the woodworking shop,
Yeah,
and it's really cool. Well, we're gonna do it with quilting.
yeah,
So
we're gonna do
that'll
it.
be us someday. But let's
It's
see
like
what
the
else we have.
30-year plan or more.
Hopefully more.
Not
I,
really.
I
If you
don't
really
want to
get
be
down to it.
70. 70? That's too
Yeah,
young.
well, I mean, if we want to be able to enjoy the bar, we got to go in at an early
Let's
point.
let's go let's say a 40-year plan.
Okay,
80, I
I'm
think,
fair
is
with that.
a respectable time
Y'all
to go
heard
in,
it
I
here
think.
first.
40 years from now, we're gonna have some fun in there. All right. Hola, Sue. Nice to see you. Let's see. So far, only 8 stores are closing so far, according to
Oh,
Donna.
that's not bad
Or
for
six
six
stores, not eight.
stores.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be underperforming stores. That's definitely going to happen. But
Yeah, you have a bar. Who cares about the quilting, right?
o-
Everybody wants to
other
be in quilting club.
other people are saying that they had the plan of uh going into the assisted
Yep.
living home together with a
You got to
crafty
start
room.
saving for that.
I
Those
know,
aren't
right?
cheap.
Some drunk old ladies in a long arm.
Drunk old ladies on a long arm. Yeah, it's true.
That could be
We
highly
have two of
entertaining.
them to offer to the
We
situation.
do.
So,
We have two multiple machines. Sit down. Chantel has a sit down. I'm gonna actually have all my fabric put away for the first time.
ever?
No, not ever, but maybe
You
since I
sure?
moved into this
Maybe
space.
ever?
When I moved into the space, everything had a home.
I feel like,
And then I started working on the book, and then it all went
and then it
to
went
hell in a
kablooey.
handbasket. Yes.
Sorry, I'm like working on this water bottle, everyone. I'm trying to get this, the kid like worked the straw thing all the way down, and I'm like trying to get it back into place.
You're funny.
So yeah, if you're wondering what I'm actually doing down here, I'm just trying to fix my straw.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's a rainbow the way you
It
like
is
it.
a rainbow. Everything's a rainbow. Why not? I
But
I don't deal in solids, which goes back to the topic of we've changed our way of buying fabric.
yes, so I have bought, like when I put everything up, all my stuff, when I set this room up to start with, about a little over a year ago now, I realized I didn't have any background fabric. And so what I did was I looked at the who are the designers that I have a lot of, and it's Tula and Allison Glass. And so I bought, 4-yard cuts of fabrics that would make good backgrounds for both of them because they usually have like one really solid background fabric option with each collection that goes out.
Mhm.
And the way that both of them do fabric collections, you can use it with any of them. The colors will work.
They have a
So,
palette that they seem to work
yeah,
within, and it always seems to be friendly across, they don't have
yeah.
a maroon palette this week and, an orange palette the next time. It's always a gradient of rainbow.
And then I did the same thing with like some backing. Like I did get some Tula backing so that if I finish a Tula quilt, I got it on deck ready to go. And because that's a thing too. Like you don't want to, you finish a quilt, you're excited. I want to get it on the long arm right away. And I was so used to that for so long because most of my quilts were made from start to finish, like having no idea what I'm going to do to like done pattern out video tutorial ready to go in about a week's time. So to me, to wait for backing material to arrive and knowing that it sells out, that would be an excruciating thing, and I would lose interest in the project before it arrives. So that's something that I
I do hoard
definitely
background
like to have
fabric.
around.
Like I
Um,
hoard backing fabric, I should say, not background fabric, but like
yeah,
108 wide.
yeah. If you see
Yeah.
a good 108, there aren't, I mean, there's some really good ones, but not a lot.
Siberian wind, gotta go. We'll see you.
Yes, we'll see you next week.
Stay warm.
The other thing, like my very first block of the month, I was being cheap and trying to save money because it was literally the very first time I'd ever done one and designed one. And I wanted it to be like really scrappy. That thing turned out horrible, just horrible. Because even though it all was like the same, it followed the same tone, like it all looked about the same colorways, it just didn't, there was no place for the eye to rest because it's really
Yeah.
hard to do scrappy background well, really hard. And I haven't figured it out yet.
It has to be the type of quilt where the chaos is the winner no matter what.
Yeah,
Like if you want something to be where your eye is happy, just kind of rotating around slowly, it's like impossible to do something
yeah.
scrappy.
So I like to get most of the stuff I do is going to be lap size. So if I have 4 yards or something, I'm fine for most projects. Um, Letitia, my book is coming out in September or October, depending on when it arrives. And I've already filmed all the tutorials but one in the process of making the book. So they just need to be edited when the time comes.
That's
It's
really
still in
cool.
design as far as I know. I haven't heard anything about it in a while. At some point, I have to give them a bunch of web links where the tutorials are going to live, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
We haven't got there. Stephanie likes to think that a tomorrow problem is a tomorrow problem. I like to worry about it and like make myself sick over it,
You
but
do.
not do anything about it. That's my style.
Yeah, I'm like, ah, well, we can wait on
Like
that.
that's a tomorrow thing, which is great. You must sleep better at night than me.
No, not
Although,
necessarily.
speaking of sleeping, these bangs and my way of sleeping are not getting along. Show
You need a
everybody how
bonnet.
I sleep.
Chantel sleeps like this. She's passed out in whatever clothes she wore for the day.
Every time.
She maybe isn't even covered up, but she's just like,
As long as I'm like
Ah.
Yeah. If I don't have my makeup off or anything, it is all down my arm. Because it's like, you can't see me, I can't see you, I clearly don't exist. And the
Yes.
bangs and the sleeping are not getting along at
Oh.
all. I wake up and they're like,
Do you have to like wet them down in the morning and
yeah,
blow
I got
dry
to
them?
do things to them.
See, this is
Annoying.
why I opt for the longer hair because I don't want to do
They're
things
my
in the morning.
stress bangs. They're my winter stress bangs.
There you go.
It's, something crazy happened if, somebody
When
gets
you did
bangs.
bangs. Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
You're like, oh my God, are
Absolutely.
you okay? Funny.
I also like when I was doing a search for backing fabric,
Hmm.
when I was like looking for things to stock up on, I have collected for a really long time a bunch of butterfly prints to do like a modern butterfly bug jar quilt.
Oh, that'd be cute.
And I have enough to do it for like my kids and like 50 grandchildren at this point. It's a lot. And but I saw two really cute butterfly backgrounds or backing fabrics, 108s, and I was like, purple and yellow, the kids' favorite colors. We're gonna get this.
Yeah, I
Have I
can't help
started
it.
it? It's been in the stash for a year. I haven't started it yet, but I have it.
It's like my
Whenever
t-shirt
it's
quilt over
ready.
there. It's
Yes.
not even cut t-shirts, and I've had them for years, 20
It's my
years at
my
least.
fabric is about to find its home.
Let's see.
Ugh, well, right now you're seeing my derriere,
Woohoo.
but gotta keep it in color order.
I
Or I
agree.
could, or I could keep it as like where I bought stuff. Like the
Oh,
London
the
trip
the
could be
Liberty
separate.
stuff deserves its own section.
The
I'm not gonna
Liberty
lie.
stuff has its own section. That is with like the quilt shop stuff. But I don't know about the rest of it. This might be like too much to do on a live. I don't know. Here's my pink, but I
You
don't
did have them
know.
all in color order at one point,
I
but now
did.
to section them in is always a
It's always the hard part.
yeah.
And like, I don't know. This thing is like not quite tall enough for like what I'm doing. Here, let me turn a little so you guys can
Yeah,
see a
you're
little more
fine.
what I'm doing. You know, progress,
So you
all
get
the
more of the
things.
moo.
Shake that moo
Woo!
moo.
We really are going to be the funnest people in the nursing home.
We are. We're gonna, I saw like
The party
all the,
starts when we get there.
I see all this funny stuff online of like what our generation is gonna do when we hit the nursing homes.
And she sends it all to me.
Oh yeah. They're just gonna be listening to like
What
club
we've
music
listened to.
from the early 2000s and reading smut fairy tale novels and
It's going to be
just
great.
getting ourselves into general chaotic trouble. That's what's going to happen. Oh, the purple. Where do you belong? Be here. This is like my doll clothes shelf right here.
Mhm.
I love my doll clothes shelf.
Sorry, I'm trying to like figure out where the. I still haven't figured out Zoom after all of.
We've only been doing this for almost a year. You can thank
You
Chantel
need to
for
make
this,
a
by the
moo
way.
pattern, by the way.
I have a moo pattern from one of my quilting friends who passed away. It was from her stash. But I feel like for the $14 I can buy it from Walmart from, I don't know that
I
it's
know
worth
it's
my
hard to
time.
beat it, but then you have to
Yeah.
think who's getting paid anything, if you can buy it for $14. You start thinking all that.
Don't make me think about
I'm
world
sorry.
economics. Just let me buy my
Just let
$14
me buy
moo.
my moo and be happy. Is
Standards
Liberty
of
Lawn a
pay,
quilt type fabric and where do you buy it? So Liberty Lawn is from the Liberty store in London. But
which
they
sells
have
much more
tawny
than quilting
lawn.
fabric.
Is it
Tana,
Tana? Tana lawn.
Towna. They do have quilting cotton, but it's not as fun and there aren't as many options.
But you can use it pretty interchangeably. I made a pillow out of it. It's so silky. It reminds me of art gallery fabrics that has that very like
It's even more so than
loose,
that.
drapey feel to it. But yeah, to an extreme. It's very good
It's
for garments because it has that drapey feel.
okay.
Oh,
We have
and we got another quilt Connor. Somebody was asking, who was it? Was it Debbie? Was
Yes,
asking
Chantel is
earlier.
going.
Yes, I will be there.
Here,
About
let me show you
QuiltCon.
the fruits of my labor, and then we can get into QuiltCon here.
Ooh,
So, Chantel, we officially need to make a doll quilts book
because
or a
it's
doll clothes
there.
book, because it's all here. I have all the things. And then here's the Liberty right up there. I'm not sure if I can see. What am I
No.
showing you guys? There we go. Hang on. I have a giant light in the way because this is
You do have
also
a
my
giant light
filming
in the way.
studio. There we go. Now we can see it better. But that is a lot of meters of fabric that is all wrapped around those boards, but it's so thin, but not in like a I can see through you way, like in a high quality
It
drapey
has
thin
this
way.
like Egyptian cotton sheet feel to it, like a
Yes,
high
it's
quality. Yeah,
very
it's
lovely.
lovely.
Lovely, lovely.
Lovely.
But I did a
Yeah,
time lapse of that.
So QuiltCon, I tried to talk you into going. Now I'm taking my husband, apparently. Um, he's just gonna
You
hang
know,
out in Arizona while, you know, I basically do my thing and nerd out with my people.
I'm
But
sure he can find something to do. There's probably a smoke shop or something he can visit.
oh, I think he's going to hiking and some, I don't know, whatever he does. John will find something to do. And then we're going to a concert. So that'll be fun. But
You have to talk about that too.
we'll get there. QuiltCon is we were talking about fabric and being able to touch things and stuff. Yes, bring your extra suitcase if you need to, because
Yes.
um
You'll come
yeah,
home with some fabric.
you'll come or a kit or two or three. Um and notions. I mean, you get to try out all the scissors. You get to try out like all these things you never get to try out, like different types of irons.
Well,
You get to
like,
see voltage of things that you normally wouldn't get to see.
was it there where you felt the fabric from Spoonflower? So
Mhm.
you knew which one to
Yes.
order if you wanted to like
Yes. So
go
Spoonflower
down that
has a
road?
whole booth there, and they had everything that you can touch so you can feel what's going to be most like what it is that you want.
Hmm.
Which was really valuable. When we were still on the Wookiees, is that how you say it? Wookiees? Moo-moos.
Moo Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should make yourself a Liberty Lawn moo.
I think you would see things through that.
I think you might. There'd be no imagination for that
My
moo.
my latest one that I got, the Walmart has Valentine's moo right now, and I like it because they're long. It's like the T-length version. And so I love that because I can strut around the house and not worry about anything hanging out that shouldn't be hanging out. But it is, you could see stuff through it. So I will never be wearing that one on the live.
You're like, we stick to the flannel ones on here.
We we are going to end up with a violation if I wear that live. We don't want to do that. But
That's funny. It's
but
like
they're
not
so
the
comfy.
violation you thought it was going to be, you know.
Yes.
Minky
A
hoodie down to
Wookiee.
my knees.
My my sister has one like that. It's her favorite piece of clothing that she owns.
I have onesies that are animals that zip up. That's
Yeah,
like the best equivalent I have.
I found my shark onesie while I was cleaning, so that's going in the wash too. But you can
Good deal.
sit in my chair right now. I mean, not this instant because there's like two boxes that I'm shipping to somebody of
Right?
my
Like,
old
yeah,
fabric.
I
But
have like a couple bolts in my chair.
they could easily be picked up and moved, and then you could sit in it. So I'm feeling very good about myself.
My room's
There's,
looking pretty rough around the edges because nothing got done this week. Down here, that wasn't basically
oh,
just
you
nothing
had
got
a
done down
week.
here.
You had a week.
The
So
dog's vomiting everywhere, and unfortunately, one of my dogs isn't doing so well. So we're probably gonna have a hard day in the next day or two for her, and
yeah,
and yeah, it was just one of those weeks where it was like, are we getting a break yet? Are we done?
they'll
Are you
come.
done yet?
But
It's all right. I have
Deb,
oh go ahead.
I was just gonna read a comment. Go ahead. I can read it
Oh
in a
yeah,
second.
Debbie, I didn't realize how much I miss going through fabric stores and picking out the ones QuiltCon is gonna cost you a pretty penny. Although there are a certain amount of deals that you can get, and it's just fun to try things or even put things on a list of like what you hope to get in the future.
For
Oh, thank
sure.
you, Jan. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard day. We've had Sasha for 15 years. So well, yeah, she's dad's dog. She doesn't like me much because I had children. She was very protective of me when I had my first, and then I brought home a baby, and she didn't really like that very much. And so when I got pregnant again, she avoided me like the plague, and then finally started coming around after about 4.5 years. And then I got pregnant with the third kid, and she's like, "No, I'm out. I'm done with this."
She wants to be the only one who gets the
I was
attention.
like, "Dad was critical in this. I just want you to know." So. But no, she blames me. It was my fault. So it'll be a hard day tomorrow, but
I'm sure.
I'm yeah, and she was a rescue too, so she wasn't a puppy when we got her. So she's lived a long time.
You gave her a
Lived a
very
long,
good
long time.
life.
Oh yeah, she ate brisket while all the other dogs were vomiting this week. She's like, I wasn't dumb and ate a diaper like you guys. So she literally, John made her a brisket. I mean, lucky dog, get a brisket.
That's a good last meal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I agree. It was delicious. I had some of the brisket too. He
I
let
have
me have
eaten
some.
some of the brisket that your husband prepares. It is
Oh,
quite
this one
yummy.
was so good. The best meat he's probably ever made. Oh, thank you, Jan. Yeah. She's old, but and the kids are I don't think I have a place in the bed tonight because the kids are all like in there, you know.
Saying their goodbyes.
Yeah. And that's okay. Sasha wants nothing to do with me. She really hates me.
Did you look at getting a stuffed animal for them that looks like her? That really
Oh
helps your
yeah, we
influx.
have a statue actually because so she has lymphoma and we've known for several months like she was supposed to be gone before like Halloween. So at least we knew like she was going downhill and she just like wasn't going and wasn't going, but we have a little like private nursery in town and John went there. They have a whole bunch of statues and he found one that looks just like her. And so he brought that home. So we have a statue
That's
of her.
perfect.
Yeah. For the other dogs to pee on, which is great. It's quite the memorial.
You know, I caught Remy peeing on Jelly Roll outside the other day, so at least it's a statue. Oh,
That's true. I caught a spot downstairs here where Ben had peed, and then Cubby went over and tried to pee on it. It was right by fabric over here. And I'm like, no, that's a lethal blow. Like, you
you
don't
can't
pee
do
on the
that.
fabric. You can't pee on the fabric. I'm sorry if it smells like a place that you need to pee, but no, absolutely not.
That's funny.
Yeah. You walk in the line there. Aw, Debbie says sorry losing a fur baby.
It's hard. It is
Oh, that's so
definitely part of the
sad.
family.
That's so sad, but she's very old. And the funniest thing about her though is that she just does not like me at all. And I love her more for it, right? Like I'm obsessed with this dog because she doesn't want to be obsessed with me. Like it makes me want to try that much harder. Like I want to be the one that gives her the brisket, because it's like, am I in your good graces now? It's like how women only pick like crappy men, right? Like she's like a total rake. So, she's not interested in me.
I can tell you've
But
been reading Bridgerton with that line.
oh yeah, no, I've been reading that in American Girl books, which is
That's quite the
quite the
juxtaposition.
alternate. Um, I've been reading it hasn't been I was reading Bridgerton and then I put that down because I've actually already read that. And then I was reading some other Regency type book or whatever. And yeah, men with chiseled, chins and
Yes.
a lot of petticoats and you know that kind of stuff. And then reading American Girl doll books for the, that has like no content whatsoever, but a lot of history. There's
You
60
know,
some pages. It makes you feel
I
really good. You finished a whole book.
I was reading one to Angela or to Lily about Rebecca, who
Hmm.
is a Jewish girl in I think 1920-ish.
Yeah, that
And
sounds about right.
um she I thought she was not paying attention at all. And then like out of the blue, a couple days later, she's like talking about how she wants these silver candlesticks. And I'm like, you do paying attention. You know she wants her own
Oh
candles
my
to
gosh,
light on the Sabbath. And I was like, holy cow, that is a really good detail for a 4-year-old to pick out.
that's awesome. We should get her some silver candlesticks.
You should.
Sorry, it's got to happen now.
I did get her an outfit for her. The girls now have a doll shelf in their room. They're very, very excited about it. I don't know if I sent you that picture. Maybe I did. We
Mm.
had one more when we cleared out our storage unit. We had one more
Hmm.
of the really big tall ones. And the dolls, I mean, they were neatly lined up against the wall, but it was not like the dolls were on the wall. So it's like, all right, well, let's see what we can do about that. And
Give the dolls a
it's not
house.
it's not perfect because some of the shelves are like fixed in certain areas,
Hmm.
but it works. And Lily's are on the bottom where she can reach, and Angela's are a little higher, and it looks cute. And they have a place to put their stuff back when they're done. So yay!
It goes full circle. I should probably grab a pattern right now and make something for my dolls because I'm sitting here doing nothing. My hands are like covered in glue.
I did find
Like
a
you can see
like.
the glue all over my finger.
I always hate that when I'm doing EPP.
Yeah,
That always is a
you can
pain for
tell
me.
which fingers I use. I apparently use the middle one on this one and the pointer on this one.
I did find when I was cleaning everything out a maxi dress doll skirt that I had started on a live like
Ooh,
forever ago and then never finished because I was like needed more brain power than I had while I was talking on the internet.
it is
And
hard to start a project on
yes.
live.
DK wants to know what I'm crocheting. This is a temperature blanket and I'm almost
For
done
what
with
year?
January of 2024.
That's funny.
I've my been doing like 2 to 3 days a day, depending on how long my arm will take it. I have this sleeve, it's for tennis elbow, and instead of wearing it up here where you would wear it for tennis elbow, I have like the pad of it on where like the tendon of my forearm is, because that's where it gets really
Hmm.
tight. And I'm able to crochet not forever. Like I could knit for hours on end, but I can crochet for about an hour and
Wow.
not feel it later. So that's pretty good in my book. The other thing that I think I absolutely need to do this year, crafting wise, is I am a big collector of Amigurumi kits, and
Hmm.
I've never done a single one of them.
That's the purses.
Not one. No, they're the little like I have a Taylor Swift and Disney and multiple Pokemon, and
What are they? Grab one. You're
oh
looking
God,
at them.
I am. They're right over here. They're all neatly staring me in the face. I will grab them all, actually.
Just all of them.
There's more even than what I have here. I know I have more somewhere in the house. I'm not positive where.
I'm
So
curious what these things are.
this was
Oh
the
my
first
gosh.
one. This was the first one I
Oh, little
purchased.
crochet things. Okay.
I was either under the influence or it was the middle of the night and I was shopping on Zulily. One of the two. This one I got many years ago, like when I was pregnant, I think. So probably wasn't under the influence. It was probably like 2 or 3 in the morning and I don't even remember purchasing it. I did not crochet at all when I purchased this. But my sister did, so I figured I could figure it out. And I started to do it. I think it's still in here. It is. And I have a very lumpy, misshapen Cinderella head, and it looks very bad. And so I gave up. And then I thought, okay, I need
Oh
to
no.
learn. It's mostly single crochet. So like that's where like me learning to do dishcloths and stuff came from and things like that. And then I've got
Oh,
Harry Potter, and it
that's
has
cute.
instructions to do all of the characters in there. I have
All of
not
them?
one, but two books on how to do Pokemon Amigurumi, and I have two kits on it
Agagur
as well.
Agag Agagurumi?
Amigurumi is, I think, how you pronounce it.
Amagurumi?
Yes. And so, what else do we have? I managed to purchase this one twice. I have two Taylor Swifts, and both of my kids are obsessed with it, so I think that that's fine. And a Wednesday, and then somewhere in the house there also is an astronaut. So I have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight kits, nine if you count the double Taylor Swift, and two books on this, and I don't know how to do it at all.
I don't know how to do
I don't know how to do
it.
it.
Oh no.
I
That's
know, right?
okay. There's a goal.
I know. So I feel like I need to do at least one.
Yeah.
Oh, is anybody else having trouble hearing us? I suppose I should type that out
Yeah.
because if you're having trouble hearing us, you're not going to hear me.
And we're just gonna look silly laughing at ourselves.
But
Testing, testing.
are we the only ones here? So yes, it's a problem.
Oh,
It's a big problem.
that is a problem. You got to do some of those.
I know. But this
Oh,
is
it looks
where,
like everyone else can hear us, so
okay,
you might
all
have to
right,
refresh.
maybe. Well, that's good to know. So that's kind of where this came from. I was like, if when I learned to quilt, I always would be like, I'm going to learn a new skill and I'm going to make it a king size quilt. And by the time I'm
It
done
goes
with it, I'm
big.
really going to know how to do the thing. And that worked very well for me. So working on
She goes
this,
big or go home kind of
I've
thing.
got some dishcloths, you know, just the things. Excuse me. Might need to
Now you
go
need
up
the
and
full
grab
Afghan.
some water. I know it's very wide. I think it's like 6 foot wide or 5 or 6 foot wide. But
I know how to crochet a little bit. I've kind of had a feeling like I want to crochet lately. Like I kind of want to
busy work.
try. But then that's because I'm trying to avoid my EPP. I need to pick up a different EPP project, is what it
That
is.
could
I need
probably
to go
be.
back to a different project that's block based. Everybody can hear us, I guess. Most everyone can hear us. Oh, yay, she figured it out.
Oh, good. But I like this. This one's called a moss stitch. And so the previous row kind of
It's really
melds
pretty.
into the next row. So it looks kind of fun. And I'm kind of kicking myself for this one. I don't love this one in it. It's the only one that isn't like a really bright, clear color. But I feel like in the scheme of things, how many 40 to 45-degree days or 41 to 45-degree days are there going to be? Hopefully it just isn't in there that
Hopefully
much.
not a lot.
So, but this is the one where I might just go buy one more of everything just so I have it,
hmm
but I don't know. And then you're supposed to do like 2 rows of like a neutral in between the months to kind of designate where the month
Okay.
ended. So I'm going to do black because my house and white don't go well. It's going to look gross really quick.
I wonder if a
Um,
charcoal would be better.
maybe black is really hard to see when you stitch too. And
Yeah.
dog hair will stick all over that too, no matter what I
Yeah.
do.
There's not a color of dog that works on black unless you have just a pure black dog.
I think if I just had Remy, it would not be so bad because his hair is not Cocker Spaniel hair and Basset Hound hair are very different shedding situations.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some. This is called yarn barf for anybody who does not know the yarn thing. When you pull
Oh,
and a
bleh.
whole bunch comes out. This is actually not bad. It can get way worse than that, and then you have to figure out what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, I kind of always wondered what you were supposed to do with that.
You just
Because when I was making all those
stitch
pom-poms,
until you get through it.
the yarn barf.
Tan.
Oh,
I am
hello
not a
from the
tan
UK.
person. I cannot do tan. Like
Not a brown.
I can do. Recently purchased a little bit of brown to like wear as like a top, but even that is stretching it for
My
me.
browns are all woods. That's my
Yeah.
my baseline there.
But I feel like all the Basset Hound hair that ends up out of their bodies is white.
It is.
I mean,
It totally.
they're not all white dogs. They have black and brown on them, but I only ever see the white wiry hair
Yeah, the wiry hair. Sasha has that too. So yeah, and it weaves itself into
into
things.
things. Yes. I
It
have a
doesn't just
sweater.
like lay or stick on it. Like we have three poodle or poodle mixes, and then we have Sasha, which is technically, I guess, part poodle per her DNA test or whatever. But no, you wouldn't know it. And her hair, it just weaves itself into the warp and weft of like every single
I
fabric.
know. I
Carpet
have
loves that
a
stuff.
a very nice black sweater that I need to like literally go over
You need to like
really
pinch it all
bad.
out.
Get it all out, and then it needs a good like thing with the lint,
Mm.
a shaver.
I've given up on the lint and the dog hair thing. It's like this is a battle that will not be won. Oops, at
It's
least
like
not
one
by
of
me.
those things like when I bought it as like a high quality sweater to like keep for years because it's
Mhm.
plain black, gonna go with everything. So I feel like it's worth spending the time, but then you
Well,
got to find the
yeah. I
time.
mean, I've just, like my leg here's the Sasha hair.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
like
I know.
they're literally just woven into the fibers of my clothes. That and other threads. I find other threads. I had the funniest thing happen today. There was something sticking out of my pants at the bottom of my leg, and I thought it was a thread. I pulled it out. It was a complete color sheet, one of those like color catchers. I had like a complete like thing of that coming out of my leg.
Donna said that hers ended up being like 13 feet long. That's
Whoops.
crazy. Well, I'll know. I'm almost done with 1 month. So I'm going to measure it when I get to 1 month and then multiply that by 12 and I'll get about where I'm going to be.
It might be a 6 month blanket.
I don't know.
Who knows?
And I could have two per year, right?
If it's okay with you, I'm going to turn off my camera for a quick second or run out to the other room. I can leave it on. Run out to the other room and get myself a beverage from the fridge because
I am about there too. I'm
I
like,
did not get myself enough to drink and my
I am
water.
really
But we're
dry at the
talking,
moment.
the nursing home beverages
You
that we were
know,
talking about.
that sounds really good.
The bar beverages.
It's all good. High noon.
Oh, yeah, and a bad flavor, but that's okay.
I realize that Costco only has the bad flavors
Oh,
of
see,
the
I
high noon.
disagree. I like the peach and the watermelon and what's the other one? Peach, watermelon, pineapple is
I
what
am
our Costco has.
black cherry all the way.
Oh, I
And you
love black
can
cherry.
buy just black cherry at
You
Walgreens,
can. I have
which I did not
plum
realize.
today. Plum is not good
I have
as one
not
of these
tried
flavors.
plum.
But we had a Christmas party and then so somebody brought all the drinks because we were hosting and so um they brought a whole bunch of random flavors that I'd never tried. Raspberry was great. There were a lot of good flavors to try, but I'll tell you right now, plum is one of those things that's like I don't feel like going upstairs. I'm just going to grab it from the downstairs fridge and this is what we got.
Yeah.
Doesn't smell so bad. Just not great,
Yeah.
but not bad either. I mean, I've drank worse, much worse.
Better than one pea hanging from your pants.
Oh, TP.
Oh,
So I
TP
had
hanging.
that color catcher like hanging out of my pants, and that's what it looked like. It's like gray. I've been walking around with this like hanging out of the bottom of my leggings all day.
Fabulous.
Clearly gone through laundry that was like red, so it was like
Yeah.
pink, and it was like, oh
Oh
God, that
no.
that probably did not look good.
That probably did not look good.
No, that was one of the
That
least
was an
gross things that
embarrassing
happened this
moment.
week with all. Yeah, it was one of those things like, oh Lord, I can't take myself anywhere.
I feel
So
like when you become a mom, you just have to get used to all the gross things. because the
I
dogs
mean,
are going to do it, the kids are going to do it.
you get, yeah. Well, there are certain things, when your dog throws up a diaper and your husband's used to dealing with gross things that you're like,
I mean, yes, he
I
cuts
tag
bodies
you
open
in.
for a
And
living.
he's like, what's the problem? Why isn't it, you know, easy for you? You deal with these gross things. And I'm like, I don't deal with this gross thing. And then he likes it when I start gagging because I'm so disgusted. He thinks that's really funny.
So
So
somewhere along the line, we lost somehow the tray to the dog crate. And so there was a rug in there instead. And Remy got sick on the rug. And it's a big dog crate, like, and
it's for
he's
a
a
big
little
dog.
dog. And so he has just kind of stayed away from it because I haven't wanted to get in there. And I asked my husband to do it, and he goes, "It's going to cost you." And you know what he means when
Husband
he says
cost
it's
you.
going to cost you. And he's like, "And I need payment in advance," because I have stiffed him so many times when
We're
I've been
like,
like, I'll be like, "Oh, well,
hmm.
you do this, I'll do that." And he's just like, "Yeah, right. You got
He's
to
like,
pay in
I need
advance."
payment now. He's like, is this a scam? I don't know.
That's funny.
That's funny.
So
That's really
either I'm
funny.
gonna have to clean it or I'm gonna have to put out one of the two.
Oh man. Now everybody on the internet knows.
Everybody
It's
knows
like it's a husband move. Like
it is
it's a
totally a
power
husband
move.
move. You want to get something done that you don't want to do, you
Yeah,
give them
right.
something they want. Oh,
He just
goodness.
says that's hilarious. That yeah, I don't know how long I had that thing like hanging out of my pants either.
Did you go anywhere today or were you in the house?
Well, knowing me, I've been wearing these pants for a good day. So we went to
I
dinner last
almost,
night. I hope it wasn't hanging out of my pants when I went to dinner last night.
oh, that would be funny.
Oh man, I had really cute shoes on too, like a statement shoe. So, oh well,
Everybody saw.
it was a statement for sure.
I almost
I
did
just
not
don't
get
get
changed today.
embarrassed. What's that?
I almost did not get changed today. And then I was
I mean,
like,
I
No,
changed
I have
my
to."
top and everything, but I got ready for dinner, so I was wearing leggings, so it wasn't really worth changing them. And then today went wild,
Yeah,
typical getting kids to school and having, a sick dog and a toddler,
yeah.
just baseline toddler things.
It's a lot.
It's just been a lot too. The whole winter weather really gets my mood. And there's so much mess. Do you have like that post-Christmas mess that takes forever to clean up?
I still have all my Christmas stuff up.
I got one tree down out of what, five? The big
Maybe
one's
this
down.
weekend. My in-laws are coming next weekend.
So
And so
there's
if
a
I
goal.
don't have this down, there's going to be like, are you really truly an adult? Or are you just pretending to be an adult?
Like,
Because I
where's your
really
Christmas
can't tell the
spirit?
difference.
It's like Russian
Like,
Christmas or something.
be like, I'm going to leave it up
I'm gonna leave it
as
up
long
all
as I
year.
need it to make me happy. I do, though. I like when it's down and all the stuff is down and it
Me
feels
too.
much
I like when it's
cleaner.
up and I like when it's down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since somebody convinced me to put it up super early, influenced me,
Hmm.
it's been up for a really long time.
Has been up
And
for a
Remy
while.
has also peed on my tree skirt, so that needs to get washed. That's all
Remy is
right.
naughty.
Remy's very naughty, but he's too cute.
I know. I I feel that way about Cubby. So Cubby's my poodle and he's my dog. If Sasha is John's dog, then Cubby's my
Cubby's
dog. And
yours.
Cubby eats off the counter. He's really a naughty dog, but he's the smartest dog. He knows how to open all the doors and everything. So there's no private bathroom breaks or anything like that.
Oh,
But
yeah, I
he's
don't know
so
what that is.
sweet. Usually, I didn't actually look when I went out there. Usually when I come out from recording and I go out there, he's passed out on the sofa waiting for me.
Oh,
All the other
that's where
dogs don't wait for me.
that's where Remy is. He's on the sofa on the other end of the room.
I'm gonna go check real quick. I want to know if Cubby's there. He tried peeing down here on that fabric, and so I was a little mad at him. He might not be down here.
I saw
Oh,
at Costco they had these
he's here.
dog beds. like really nice dog beds, but not for a lot of money. And I was like, oh, that would be perfect for the sewing room for Remy. But then I was like, I need to get some more floor space before I go do that. I need to
Dog
clean
beds
up
are
some
an
more things.
opportunity for peace spots. That's my take on dog beds.
That has not been my experience,
Donna, so she
but
was in, um, a lady came out of the bathroom with her skirt tucked into her pantyhose. Oh Lord,
I
be
almost
awful.
left the house to take my child to confirmation at church with that like last month. I like I had come in from something and I had tucked this really long skirt into my pantyhose. And my husband's like, "You're not going out like that, are you?" And I'm like, "Why? Can you see through the skirt?" He's like, "I can see the skirt. Like it
Everything.
is like your whole thing is out." And I was like, "What?" Like I had
What?
no idea. None whatsoever. I thought I was looking really fabulous, ready to go. Because it was like Sunday, the one day a week
To
I get to like
some,
really put
you
it
would have,
together.
to your husband, you probably looked on point
I mean, I'm
and
sure he
hilarious.
appreciated it. Nobody else,
Nobody
but
else.
nobody
That's
else.
funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, I need a
Do you
project.
ever,
Sorry.
like, when you're learning something new,
Hmm.
like, make such fast progress that, like, I can tell, like, when I started to when I picked it up again,
Hmm.
like, it's this space in between the stitches is so dramatically different. Like, these
I can
ones
tell the
here,
back of my EPP, like,
there's, like, I'm not sure if you can tell, there's lots of holes in
yeah,
there. This is the same hook, but it's just a lot closer together because I've done it enough and there's no more holes.
yeah,
So
you figured it out.
I kind of love that, like with knitting. Like I have a blanket that I made for, started for Angela, finished for Lily 5 years later. And you can tell my progress in knitting on that. It's really kind of fun to look at.
I definitely see it in my EPP, like, because I have a whole bunch of hexy flowers that I've been saving since I started. And oh, did I start my t-shirt quilt? I did not start my t-shirt quilt. It's staring at me over there.
We have discussed how it will take up less space if you just get
You're
it
right. That's what I should do. I need a project. I need to start that, but I know better than to cut while on
on the
TV,
live.
especially cutting t-shirts. Now, do you suggest that you cut the t-shirt and then apply the interfacing?
There's
Or do you
two
cut
schools.
large for the t-shirt interface and then trim down?
I cut it
What?
at 12.5 inches and then I make it fit to the interfacing. And I'll start with my corners and then I work around my sides and then I do the center. And I've n never had a problem making that
Mhm,
work. There are other people who will interface the back of it and then cut.
mhm.
There are
I thought
lots of
about
schools
cutting
of thought on that.
large, interfacing, and then trimming down. I know that it'd be a little more expensive technically because, I'm going to lose some of that. But
Yeah,
then when I trim it down, it should be on
the right
point.
size. Yeah.
I find it stretches before interfacing. What do you mean by that, Lori?
So like whenever you put the t-shirt down
Uh-huh.
and you trim it, like you don't want
Hmm.
to move the t-shirt at all. You want to move your body and rotate around the ruler and just leave it
Hmm.
be. As a second you pick that ruler up and you move that t-shirt, it's never going to be a 12.5 inch square again until you fuse it down. And
That's what I was wondering.
that's where that manipulation comes into play. Maybe get like a t-shirt that you don't care about,
Start and
like,
practice t-shirts. Yeah.
and
Well,
practice with
that
that.
and that is a baseline thing that I would probably do because some of these either that or a t-shirt that was probably not going to make the cut but
Yeah.
could. Um,
Is it all Urine Johns from Augustana?
yeah,
Yeah.
mostly from Augie or Rush or, Chicago Days and things like that. So they're all older. We have our
I
Stigma
have.
t-shirts,
I barely remember that one. Probably because of time and
probably because it was
alcohol.
Stigma. Yeah.
Yes.
We were talking
Oh
about
goodness.
how our friendship transcends time. Like we knew a time when we had such great legs from, pledging and things like that when we were in college and, you
Are we
know,
allowed to tell them why we had good legs? Do you
oh
think enough
no,
time
we're
has
not allowed to
passed?
tell them. No, we just had
We
great
can't
legs
tell
from
you
having to do things during pledging.
during pledging.
And
Yes.
not like anybody under the age of 35 is ever going to
I don't even
watch
think they're
this.
probably allowed to do any of that anymore.
I don't
I
think
think
so
they
either.
I think they probably was it your year that they got banned from campus?
Yeah,
Your senior year
yeah.
for like a year?
I was
We were
supposed
in
to be they wanted me to run for president and everything. And I was like, I'm planning a wedding. Like, I'm out. I'm sorry. I'm happy to be your technology and scholarship chair, but no.
Chantel and I were in the sorority that wore camo pants and beat all the fraternities and keg races.
We
We were
wore
not
bandanas. We were cool.
we were not in the
We were
sorority
not cool.
that like always had
It
on
wasn't
point makeup.
adorable. We were the
No,
opposite of adorable.
like, and let's just say there was a camping trip gone wrong. And, and then we got in big well, not we, I was out by then. But
Yeah, they got in trouble and things like that. But generally, what I take from the experience is that I was surrounded by women that were,
knew what they wanted and how to get it.
they did, and they're like the business women now. They're the powerful ones. They're the ones
Yes.
that didn't take no when somebody, politely declined them. They're like, oh, no, 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 no. You know, um, they were really people to look up to, especially when you were young and meek and like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I
I
want with
really
my life.
needed I needed
I,
that in my life at the
I
time that
needed
it
that
came
too. And I
across.
think so, even though we don't necessarily fit that uh persona all the way, it was a much needed thing. Lori said she put a t-shirt on her jean jacket for her son. That's a good idea.
That could be fun.
I have a jean jacket I put my some of my English paper piecing on. Well, we have fond memories of college. Yes, we do. Very
We
fond.
do.
They go
We
back.
remember most of it.
They go back.
Uh,
We've spent many a midnight together not sewing.
yes, this is accurate. And her husband.
hmm He was there
But
too.
he was there.
Yeah,
He
we
made sure
actually
we
we
were safe.
celebrated 20 years together just this week. You can believe that.
Congratulations.
I know. No, many people don't do their dating whatever, but that was kind of a big deal because somebody asked us very specifically, like, are you guys a thing now or something? And John blurts out before I could say no, yes.
And you're still a thing.
And we're still a thing. We never
It worked
stopped being a
out.
thing. Yeah.
Worked out.
I was like mortified because he's like, yes, we are. And I'm like, are we? Hmm.
I think I really need my glasses because I cannot barely read these comments. I have to
Like,
get very
you need
close.
some of these
I know.
big eyes.
Oh.
These make
Daughter
me
just
so
taught me
happy
to
when I'm
purl on
sewing.
Christmas break, so I'm assuming that means knitting.
Yeah, that's knitting.
Um,
I know that one. I
I
learned
know it
that before I
too, but
got
I just
kicked
wanted to
out of
make sure.
knitting.
Um, these guitars for
Oh, he
famous
makes
rockers, so he needs to dress
guitars.
the part. That's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, maybe I need a jean jacket. I could be cool.
I still have my Tula Pink Pinkerville embroidered unicorn
I
that
know.
I
I'm coveting
always
that.
thought I would put on a jacket and never did.
Hmm. I could make good
But
use of that.
I bet you could.
I
I
could.
thought that I should probably give it to you as part
I
of my Tula
actually
package,
bought
gift
you
package
a
to you.
gift not that
I
long
know.
ago.
I know
No,
you
I,
did.
I got you something else.
Oh,
It was,
Chantel. Now I really have
well,
to
it
up
was
this
just a
Tula
haphazard
package.
thing.
Uh,
They had them and they were limited, and so I bought two of them. But
oh, that's so cute.
yeah, they're the Tula ones.
Is that a embroidery
It's a
or a decal?
patch. Yeah,
It's a
it's an
patch.
embroider patch.
That's cool.
You can put it with your Pinkerville.
My Pinkerville.
Now you have a whole coat to make.
I know I needed something.
Congratulations on your new project.
No, thank you. Not this morning.
No, thank you. Lori,
Oh,
I
I
think
have so
that's so
much to do.
cool. He makes guitars for famous rockers. Being able to build an instrument, man, that's a
That
lot
is
of
a
work.
skill.
Yeah.
One of my friends' ex-husbands can do that, and it's amazing the skill that goes into it.
To be able to get it into tune and all of that from I'm a French horn player. Stephanie's technically a saxophonist.
I mean, more of a
Except she
pianist.
didn't do that in college because she didn't realize that she should have done that in college.
I was not the smart
You were in
thinker,
the
clearly,
choir.
except I
Yeah,
can't sing. Have we told that story on here yet?
a million times, but yeah.
Probably, yes. I had a music scholarship for piano, and I had to be in an ensemble. And they told me I had to join choir, but I couldn't sing. And it was a very embarrassing audition. Very, very embarrassing audition.
20 years later, I'm
I
like,
still
wait,
will never, the only people I've ever sung in front of, like, I'm fine if I'm like, at church or something. That's fine. I can blend into the voices and it's
we
not a big
all,
deal.
yeah, we all
But,
suffer at church for this singing
I don't sing like in general ever in front
on
of
purpose.
anybody except for You Are My Sunshine to My Children. That one I got pretty good at. That is all I do. That is the only song I can ever do, and it has to be calm and quiet. You will never see me at karaoke ever. If I
You're gonna be at
have,
karaoke. You are my sunshine.
yeah, but you can't
Yeah.
like belt it. It's got to be
No, you
quiet,
can't.
or
You have to
or
be
it's
like
bad.
sweet.
It's it's no good. It's no good at all.
It's all good though, really. Wow, me too for Slayer, Exodus. Wow, that's amazing.
That is really cool. I
There
can
we
barely
go.
read that.
Now we're doing a crossover. Talk them into quilt line guitar cases. I'd take one of those.
There you go. That would be cool.
I have a few guitars myself, but
Send Tim
I'm
Holtz
not much
fabric
of a
for that.
guitar player because I can't sing. And when people ask you to play guitar, what they really mean is they want you to play guitar and sing.
So my issue with that is I can't sing and play the piano at the same time. My brain doesn't work that way. Like I'm in awe of
I
anybody
have
who can
enough
do it.
trouble with playing the bass clef after all these years of playing horn.
Yeah. I thought I had done half a row with the wrong color, but I did not. I'm okay.
Oh, okay, good.
I had a moment of panic there.
I don't
It's
blame
okay.
you. I
I was
still
like,
haven't
no,
decided what my maybe I'll pick up this EPP right here.
you're having
I
decision
might I know
paralysis
I
right now.
am I'm great at that.
It
I think I
happens.
might
It's
move to
okay.
my little chair over here. Let's see.
That's how I felt this morning. Like I thought I was like, I had a very limited amount of time to get anything done because the kids had a half day. And I thought, well, I'll call and get this dentist appointment scheduled because I have to
Hmm.
go to an endodontist because I have an abscess in my molar.
Oof.
And I've known about this since I got back from the cruise in May, but it's starting to bug me. Like, you know how
Well,
people,
isn't that what it takes? Is it
you,
like as a parent, you're like, but
yeah, I
it's
know.
being a problem now.
Well, you
So,
know how like, joints get funny with the weather changes? My
yes, I
my
have a
tooth is
knee
funny
and
with the
I
weather
have a
changes.
wrist
I
that
get
does
it.
that.
Yes. I'm whatever age it is that now your tooth is weird with the joint changes or
Oh
the
my
weather
gosh,
changes.
that's kind of hilarious. You're like,
I know. Like I can tell
you
what
have
the
a
weather's
tooth that goes
doing.
bad when you're like, it's going to rain.
Yeah. It's
A
so
cold
weird.
front is coming.
So it ended up being this whole rigmarole because they're the closest endodontist to me that accepts our insurance is an hour and a half away. So this took like a good hour to figure out and get referrals where they needed to be. And so then I felt like I got nothing accomplished because at that point I'm like,
Oh
well,
yeah,
I have to go get the kids in like 40 minutes. I'm not going to start anything. But
man. Whew. You know,
yeah,
we've done a pretty good job. We've made it pretty far tonight. It is almost
we did.
11:30.
It is almost 11:30. I can read that part of the clock.
Yeah, I'm
I
still
like
here like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do this. And then I'm like, I don't know if I really want to. Maybe I should tidy up over here. If you guys don't mind me all wiggling around and
you're
everything,
all good.
I think I think I should probably clean up over here. I have quite the adventure going on over here. Unused quilt pieces and,
So
scraps.
we know that I've done a lot in my sewing room this week, and that there's clear progress. Like I had a clear desk to start the day with. I've got a clear cutting mat that I can cut on. Like this is
You
huge
did.
progress. I'm very excited. And I asked my husband to come down and hang out with me one night while I was working on it. And he's like, "So, what have you done down here?" And I'm like, "Come on." And he's like, "Wait,
Oh,
he's like, the fact that you're even walking behind the desk is a pretty big accomplishment." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." So, thank you very much.
thank you
But
for noticing all of the hard work that
I know.
they have a way. They,
I know.
I'm sorry.
They do.
Let's
My
see. I
children
have
were
like no
very
place to put the
motivated.
things.
See, this is why I had to purge fabric. Back to our first
I
topic
don't want to purge
conversation.
the fabric. I want to hoard the fabric.
Cleaning craft room seems to be a craze on YouTube. Yes. Well, it is that time of year.
It is that, yeah. And we're all overstocked, just like Joann's.
I know.
We're all overstocked right now. Oh, I don't have that locked. That's not good.
What I don't
Maybe
know
I'll
what
move you guys over here.
my biggest issue is going to be under the long arm because that's just where everything has gone to die.
Oh, mine under the long arm area is like sorry, y'all
I have
are,
like three tubs of stuff that like made its way upstairs and then it got put in a tub to bring back downstairs, but then it never got put away. And I have three big tubs like that.
yeah, that I live that life.
And it's like,
I
goodness
understand
gracious,
completely.
it's not
It's
how I
like
want to.
I have a whole bunch of Christmas stuff that's going to live in a tub for like forever. That's what it does now
No.
because it's the random stuff that doesn't have a home. Sorry, you're going to see my water bottle and everything for a while.
Well, and like the area under a long arm, like it's such an area that could be utilized for good storage
Hmm.
space, but it's a matter of finding things that are the right height. And it is hard to find things that are the right height to fit under the long arm. And I did some looking, like there's some stuff at IKEA, like you can get upper cabinets that are about the right height to fit underneath.
The Alex cabinets will fit
Yeah,
under there, depending on your model and
yeah,
how tall you are. Don't mind if I crawl up tall. I
you're all
had a
good.
block that I had taken down, and now I got to put it back up on the display.
And then
Look at those cute little
Costco
animals.
has a rolling cart that is about 2 inches too tall. But I think if I just don't put the casters on, it'll be fine. So I'm going to be that weirdo in Costco with the tape measure, measuring things
Go
out
for it.
tomorrow, just so everybody knows. If anybody
You're
sees
like, hey, if you
me,
see me,
if
that's
anyone
me.
sees someone with a tape measure in Costco, that's going to be
That would
me.
be me. Yeah.
But it's got these pull-out drawers, and I think that it would be perfect for putting like my long arm supplies in, so that I have more space in the drawers in my cutting space.
I really need some sort of storage under there, but my long arm frame is different than most of them, and it has the the top bar, like where you have the
Hmm.
quilt top,
Is
is down
underneath,
really
right?
low.
Yeah.
And so there's not as much area to use for the storage. So I have bins slid under there. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have like a box in the way here.
Oh, you're fine.
I still have all my pins out from when I was making Christmas ornaments. Gotta like lock these up, make sure that they're not
Yeah,
flying
you don't want the
everywhere.
kids in that. Would under the
Yeah.
bed storage things work? They would. I like things that I can
They have to
easily
be a little
access,
bigger
though.
than that.
Like for me, it's like I want to be able to see what I have and I want it to be functional. So the reason why I like this one at Costco is it's like a white mesh drawer.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I think you'll be able to see in it. So I'm thinking like I can put my full line stencils in there in one drawer and like my rulers in another drawer, my quilting rulers, and just the things that I had that are just crammed. I mean,
Everywhere.
basically, with the exception of one drawer, I have four pull-out drawers in my cutting space, and
Mhm.
all of them look like junk drawers, all the other three.
I
And
understand.
so, like, you can't find anything you actually need, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like, one is technically supposed to be like the garment, and the other is supposed to be technically be a ruler bin, but it's just too hard to mess through. So I need something like flat, and I think this will be perfect. But
Let me know
the
how they
long arm
work because
has three huge drawers that she added at the installation, and she's got way too much stuff arranged under the table too. Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff. Like I keep my my sewing cases, my travel cases under there, and some other things, but
I have a lot of
it's
stuff
too
under
much.
there. It's where, you know, things go to not
I know.
exist.
Well, and like I have a big bin that because my camera equipment sometimes goes elsewhere for me to do filming at. And so I've got a big bin that I like to just keep under there because then I know where it's at and it didn't get used for something else.
Ooh,
So there still will be a little bit of that, but
let's see, we're gonna put this guy up here. It's like I need to get some things up off the floor though. I'm still running into things. Like I can clear off the counters, but at the expense of the floor.
yeah, that's why like I like everything to have like a home for it to go
Oh,
to.
I intend for everything to have a home. It just hasn't materialized that way yet. And it's
Yeah.
getting there. It's getting there slowly. Part of it is that I didn't have like another space that was quite like I got the long arm at kind of an inopportune time for when I was still trying to figure out this space. And
Hmm.
so it ended up going where it could go. But when you find a deal like that, you hop on it and
Yeah.
when your husband says yes, you say thank you and you just hop on that. So I think that was part of it is that I was never like truly settled. Everything has never actually had a place.
Yeah.
The biggest
I
thing for me
took
here.
probably a month and a half to really figure out where I wanted everything to be down here
Yeah.
after we moved everything in. And that was really good. But then it
I
all
think
kind of got real chaotic.
I just jumped into the projects and
Yeah, that too.
never really took care of the issue at hand.
I was a little burnt out when I was putting mine together because I had been doing a project a month forever. So the idea of my project being like getting my room
The
together
space. Yeah.
was like very attractive.
Well, and some of these things have just like materialized in this room. Like, so I have this French horn here that's actually like a speaker I use for music,
Hmm.
to play music in here. It doesn't go in here. It just one day got put in here by somebody and it never got put back where it goes. So I have various things that have landed in here
Hmm.
that don't really go here. But then again, they're so cool. It's like, hey, that's kind of cool. I like having that there so that when I'm sewing in the middle of the night, which tends to happen to me, I don't have to use the big speakers in the room because you can see I'm in a theater room of
Hmm.
previous once was a theater room. You can see that I still have the
Projector.
projector. Yeah. And it's just so big and heavy, it's really not worth taking down. And they're really not worth that much. So just leave it there. And when I have these big speakers, then the surround sound that I can play in here and have really, really, really great music. But in the middle of the night, you don't want surround sound. You want your
No,
kids to stay in bed.
you
That's
probably
when,
also want to go to bed eventually.
yeah, tomorrow's a big day. We're going to take Sasha to bed. So
Yeah. Well, maybe we should call it a night since you have a big
Probably I
day
gotta find
tomorrow.
out if there's children in my
Room for
bed or
you
if
in
I
the
get to
bed.
sleep in my bed.
You might be taking over your daughter's bed for the night.
I like to sleep downstairs on Friday nights. It's my spot. I sleep with
Yeah,
Cubby. We have a date.
there you go.
Yep.
I
He's
understand the dog snuggle. I
he's my
snuggle with
dog
the
on that night.
dogs more than my husband, like most of the time.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
happily
not gonna lie.
married, but I love that
No,
dog.
I'm happily married as well. You don't have to worry about us in paradise, but when it comes to a puppy, I can't say no.
I know they
That's
just
why I work
snuggle.
so hard for Sasha's affection. Like, how can you say no? It's free pets. But she says no.
She says no, it's
She
okay.
says no. She's been a very good dog for a very, very long time.
She
So
has,
it'll be a hard day tomorrow, but this has cheered me up for
definitely.
sure.
That's good. Well, call me if you need me.
You're on speed dial. Do they still
It's
have
all
speed
good.
dial? You're on speed dial.
I mean, I think you can have speed
Hey
dial.
Siri, call. Basically all I know. She's like,
It's all good.
oh, never mind. Thank you, Siri.
Siri got too excited. She jumped the gun.
She's very excited to help me.
All right. Well, thank you very much for spending the night hanging out with us and sewing or doing whatever it is you do. Obviously, I didn't sew at all, and I crocheted and I cleaned things up around my place
I
so that I
glued
can.
things, but
It's all good.
it's
We were
okay. We spent Friday
preparing
night
to
together
do things. It's all good. It was
to cut
craft-ish. It was
things
craft
mostly.
related.
Yes.
All
All
right.
right. See you,
See you guys
everyone.